Hello everyone, this is Vault M from the Guild Saga team. Super excited to show you guys today an extended look at some Guild Saga gameplay. This is going to be from the very start of our story mode, roughly the first 30 minutes to 1 hour of gameplay, depending on, the kind of decisions that you would make and how long it would take you to make your moves in battle. That time might differ, but this is a view of the very start of the story mode of the game. There may be some bugs. There's a lot of stuff we're going to be looking to improve. It's still a demo build, but should give you guys a good sense of how the game is going to play. And just from my perspective, I'm not a YouTuber, I'm not a streamer, so the presentation might not be perfect just yet, but bear with me, I'll get better over time. So without further ado, I'm just going to log in here to my account. I will blur out my email when I upload the video. I'm going to start off by connecting my wallet. And you'll see I've connected my wallet. You'll see some DevNet heroes come up in there, my soul balance, and you can see also the save private key feature. This is a good feature because it allows you to easily import the in-game wallet into Phantom, and then you could use that wallet in world mode or on Magic Eden, and then if you earn loot in world mode, if you buy hero on Magic Eden, it will be available to you in game instantly. So I'm just going to go ahead and start up the game. So here we are at character creation, and just for some additional context, usually here we would have, before character creation, an opening cinematic to situate where you are in the game and provide some backstory and context to you being at this camp and what's going on. But for the purpose of that video, we don't have that opening cinematic, so we're just jumping right into the character creation. First thing is picking a name. I'm just going to show off the random generator because our community submitted about 300 random names to be put into the generator. So we'll just flip through some of those. But ultimately I will just go with Vault M. And I'm just going to go ahead and create a custom character, and then I will override it with an imported hero NFT just to show you guys both of the different processes. So when you're creating your character, you can also select a starting armor. So you can choose between a warrior, armor, archer, and mage's cloth robes. We'll just go with the cloth robes, and then you can also choose a starting weapon. This would obviously be informed by the kind of build that you're attempting to make. That's pretty cool. Just to show you some additional features in the character creation, you can use this button here to enable and disable the UI so you can get a little bit more information on the items. You can use this button here to enable and disable the armor, so if we wanted to change the gender, you can kind of see the difference there. But I'll go ahead and import a hero NFT now. So just by clicking import hero, it pulls up that same list of NFTs I had earlier in this different UI here. Now let's go ahead and select this guy. And you'll see now that the appearance tab is grayed out. And now we're in the backstory tab, because once you've imported a hero NFT, although you can unequip armor and equipment in the game, you are locked to the eyes and hair and race of the NFT. So that's why that's grayed out. Now we're moving into backstory. This is a little bit of a additional character creation feature that's going to give you some lore to your character, and it'll also give you, as you can see here, a couple attribute points. or statistics points. And it'll also unlock some unique dialogue choices. So you can see we have quite a few here. There's a businessman type background, a warrior type background, scholar, wanderer, fighter. This is a warlock one. This is a cleric one. Because I'm doing a rogue build, I'm going to go with the pickpocket backstory. This is going to give me rogue +1 and thievery +1. This one says, I'd always been extremely grateful to the Asardians, from the merchants who ply their trades till their satchels overflowed with coin, to the nobles who strut the streets adorned in gold and jewel, searching for beneficiaries to their philanthropy. One might even say I owe them my entire livelihood. It is then most unfortunate, of course, that emerging chaos in the region has caused many to go into recluse. The keep I worked so tirelessly for has become incredibly paltry. These days, making an honest living has become rather arduous struggle. Perhaps it is time to set my sights on new lands with fresher pockets. And you can see that gives us rogue +1 and thievery +1. That'll be useful for us. Inclination is the next selection. This is similar to backstory, but it speaks more to your character's attitude. So we've got altruistic, ambitious, curious, degenerate, devout, greed, loner, neophile, righteous, vengeful, altruistic. I'll go with degenerate. This seems to be one that the viewers might identify with the most. This one says, one does not need to tell me the odds, for I already know them by heart. The higher the stakes, the more I welcome the wager. Gambling? Heavens no. It's so much more than that. After all, what fun is a life without any risk of death? Now we're going into the stats. This is the stuff that you're really going to want to focus on when you're creating a character. So because we're aiming for a rogue build, I'm going to look at dexterity. You can see when I hover over the stats, it tells you what they do down here in this box here. Strength is going to be for your physical attacks, and dexterity is going to be for your dexterity-based attacks, which includes dual-wielding attacks. So I'll go 2 into dexterity. Intelligence is for like magic-based skills. That would be if you're doing a mage-type build, you definitely want to get some intelligence in there. And Constitution is your overall HP. So I'm going to put 1 point into that just so I can live a bit longer. And the next one is the turn stats. So initiative is for determining the battle order. Whenever you get into a battle, the order is determined by highest initiative level to lowest initiative level. So that's going to be pretty important. I'll put my point into that. Speed is for movement points, both max movement points and per turn movement points. That determines how far you can move, of course, on each turn. And then for vigor, that's going to increase your action points per turn and maximum action points. And those are for doing any kind of action on each turn, like a spell, an attack, a heal, a buff, a teleport, anything like that. Any use of a skill. Weapon stats are pretty self-explanatory. This is going to improve your accuracy, evasion, damage when using the respective type of weapon. So we're using a dual wield, as you can see, so I'll put 2 points into that. The school statistics increase the power level of skills belonging to that school. So of course we're going to focus on Rogue, and I think for my secondary class I will go with Warlock. It's like dark magic based skills. And now here I'm at the page where I can select my skills. So obviously with a rogue type build you want to have high level of mobility. So I think I'm going to go with Flank, which is going to allow me to teleport. I'm going to go with Hasten, which is going to increase my AP and MP per turn. Basically increase the distance that I can move per turn and the amount of moves I can do per turn for 2 turns when used. And then for the Warlock skill, I'd like to give myself a little bit more versatility in battle so that I don't always have to be right up on the target to attack. So I'm going to go with Iron Maiden, which has a 3 range. Finally here, I'm looking at the talents. Talents, as opposed to skills, are buffs that carry with you the entire playthrough and or whenever the talent is active. So for example, consistent is going to up your accuracy but lower your critical strike chance. Elusive is plus 10% evasion. Mineralist will give you mining improvement. Politician's going to give you some dialogue stat boosts. And Scavenger is for recovering special arrows, so that would be if you were an archer, this would probably be the one to go with. We'll have more to select from in the full game, but for the purposes of this video, we just have the 5. So I'm going to go with Elusive, up my evasion by 10%. It's pretty strong. And I will go ahead and start the game. So you can see, guys, that we're starting out and we are at a camp of some sort. And we can look around the camp by hovering over things. You can examine them. We can go up and talk to pretty much everyone in the camp. I'm not going to go through all the possible dialogue. It would make this video way too long and boring. But I will show you guys some of it. So if we move up to our Pilgrim person here. We have some narration describing this woman. She speaks to you with a rough but firm voice. Young hero, we are honored to have you in our company as we embark on this sacred voyage. And you can ask her to try and get some information on where you are, to get some context, or you can tell her that the frontier is no place for the decrepit. Tell her she's too old to do what she's doing. We'll ask her, where are we? She says, you find yourself at the campsite of Ogier's emissaries, bound for the frontier to honor the fallen Veglinir. We shall gather at his remains and pray for Ogier's sanctuary, for no one knows of the consequence that befell him when his beloved equine was ripped from the sky that day. So essentially, what she's referring to is sort of a key lore element in the game where a Pegasus was shot from the sky and no one really knows what happened. This particular group is assigning a religious meaning to that event. More generally speaking, what's happening where you are right now is you are on Respite Island, which is sort of a pit stop between the old continent and the new continent. You are enlisted by the Heroes Guild as a field agent to complete a mission on the New World, so you are traveling over to the Andra, the new continent, and you are currently at this camp of pilgrims who are also traveling over to the New World for religious pilgrimage purposes. So just to give you guys some background of what's going on here. So we can ask her some more questions. You know, who is Ogier? She's going to explain that he's a unwinged god. And we can ask what is Veglinir. That's his Pegasus, who's just as renowned as he is. We can ask why are the gods fighting. And this is going to give us a quest prompt here, so we can ask if there's anything we can do to help about the conflict between the gods. Quell the untethered fury of a god? Goodness, I should expect not. But if you wish to lend aid to the pilgrimage, perhaps you might keep an eye out for any scattered fragments of Veglinir's bones. The very least we can do for the pitiful child is to gather as many of his remains before we begin the ritual proper. So, with that, we can exit this conversation. We don't need to go exhaust all the dialogue. You can see down here we have a log. So this is going to log combat, things that happen in combat. When you examine things, it'll show up here, the text. If you receive an item, it'll show up here. You can expand it and close it. I'm going to go talk to this person here. I'm going to show off the dialogue stat checks. So she says, want to try feeding the chickens? Don't worry, they don't bite. And because we have points in the Intimidate dialogue stat. This dialogue option is unlocked for us, and we're able to say no, they would be better off in tonight's stew. This makes her afraid. She says, "Please don't hurt our hens. They provide us with eggs for food and trade, and have kept us company through many dull journeys. Take these instead if you must have something to eat." And she gives us some items. She gives us 5 small eggs. So we can pull up our inventory. We received our first items, 5 small eggs. Just to show you guys the inventory, you can see the equipment here, statistics on the right side, resistance levels, attribute points up here in the top left. This plus would be enabled when you leveled up, and you can put points in there. Just to show some more of the UI, this is the utility window. So here's where you can look at your skills. You can see you have the lacerate skill just from having daggers. Down here is the active skills out of max skills. We only have 3 right now, so we're not approaching the end, or the limit. You can enable and disable skills here. You can learn an unlimited amount of skills, but you can only have a certain amount of active skills at one point in time. So here's how you would manage that. You can look at your talents here as well. So now I will go up here. We can see this merchant, and I'll just show off. You could talk to him. You could ask him about his red skin. It would be an alternate dialogue tree if you were also a demon race. We can also trade him, and you can see the merchant UI. We don't have any silver coins right now, so we can't buy anything, but we'll probably come back later if we need things. Once again, you can examine everything, not everything, but many things within the camp. And now we'll go and we will recruit our party members here in the bottom right. They're also agents of the Heroes Guild and our starting party members at the beginning of the game. Approached an annoyed-looking knight, and he's eager to find some shards. He says, "Let's begin our search. The Heroes Guild would like you to look for some magical artifacts on this island in order to ensure your safe passage to the New World, as there have been many mysterious storms occurring that have been wrecking ships out at sea." So we can ask him for some additional context again. What's your name? We could ask him. My name is Lucite Dawnguard II, born of the noble house Dawnguard, retainers of the Mizan throne, honored keepers of the Holy Shield, revered masters of the wind, servant to the great goddess Miriam, 9-time champion of the... You get distracted by a squirrel making its way up a nearby tree. On behalf of the Heroes Guild, same as you, as I have previously mentioned twice on board our ship. So we can use an intellect check here, and he's impressed by our knowledge. Fancy meeting someone well-informed at a dump like this. Perhaps you will find this book useful. I have memorized its contents and have no further use for it. Your friendship with Lucite has grown slightly, so there is a bond mechanic as well. And he wants us to go find the shards. Let's say, okay, let's go. Lucite has joined the party. And we also now have this book that he gave us. Next, let's recruit Aska. The girl sits on the bench with her back arched forward, periodically gagging and wretched from the turbulence of the voyage. One you found to be rather uninspiring. You get the sense that she is someone close to nature, choosing to keep her wooden greatstaff raw and unpolished, even at the grip. Adorning a flower in her hair most her age would find embarrassing. She says, "Hey there" to me, and she vomits. You can ask her what her name is. She says it's Aska, and it'll change the name there. Let's bring her into the party as well. And once we have our party together, we can choose the formation. So right now we have Lucite in front of us. I'm going to bring him behind me, just so I'm leading the way. This is an important character, Kareth, here, but I will leave that dialogue for now and go ahead and travel to the jungle. Okay, so I'm now in the jungles of Respite Island. I come upon this dinosaur chewing on an arm. Little preview of our cinematic system there, just a way for us to do some basic cutscenes. Whomever this arm belonged to could have probably used a hand against the creature you just saw. You can also examine this hole. There's a hole large enough to fit a person through lies before you. You hear voices coming out of it, but are unable to discern what they are saying. So some foreshadowing that there's some people underground. We can go and loot this chest. We got a banana and a note. We come up here on some plants, so a little preview into our herb lore system. You can pick the plants. You have some pickleweed in your inventory now. Prickleweed, rather. Now, come down here, and we're going to be coming up on our first battle, so I'll go ahead and start this. As I said earlier, the turn order, as displayed here at the top middle of the screen, is determined by the initiative stat. So these two dinosaurs have higher initiative than my party, so they're going first. So we're starting off with Lucite's turn, and it should be noted that the gauge to the left of the hourglass, that is your movement point gauge. So you can see as I drag my cursor around and I extend the range of the tile that I am selecting to move to, it shows the cost in MP, with one tile always being 1 MP of cost. And then on the right of the hourglass is the action point gauge. So you can see the cost is 3 for the lightning strike skill. Each enemy has armor and magic barrier as an available armor gauge before you get to their health. These dinosaurs only have physical armor, they don't have any magic armor. So if I use a magic skill that does magic damage, it'll go directly to their health points. So that's what I'm going to do to start off. I'll go ahead and do 3 lightning bolts on one of these guys. And I'm out of action points. I'm just going to use my movement points to walk away. So they have to use some movement points to get to me. My character, I'm going to do a similar thing. It's always good to use Hasten at the beginning of your first turn. This is a good investment. It's going to make it so I gain more AP and MP for 2 turns going forward. So always a good first move. Then I'll go ahead and use my only magic skill. This will, as I said earlier, do damage directly to their health points because their magic armor is gone. That guy's almost dead. I am going to move away just like with Lucite. Force them to use up some movement points to get to me. Now we have Aska. I'm going to go ahead and do a serrated vine. See if that can finish this guy off. It does. And then I'll go ahead and use Noctis Cloud on this one that has full health. And because he has no magic armor, the status Poisoned was applied. You can see in the skill tooltip here, it does poison damage, and it sets poison for 2 turns, resisted by magic barrier. So, because he didn't have any magic barrier, the status Poison got applied, so now he'll take damage on each turn. I will just move away like I did with the other characters. See if I maybe got out of his range. Not quite. With Lucite this time, my Lightning Strike is in cooldown, so I'm going to use my Strengthen. This is going to up the power of my physical attacks going forward, and then I will immediately do my slash attack, and I should be able to take him out before he gets another turn. I'm going to have to use my teleport to get up on this guy. I don't have enough movement points. That cost me an AP instead. And just before I kill this guy, it should be noted that the battles at this stage of the game right at the start are going to be far more basic than later in the game, as the builds at this stage are very underdeveloped, and you just have access to a few skills, and the enemies are easier and simpler. These are just simple one-attack enemies. So just for some additional context there, I'll go ahead and finish this guy off. Just going to go ahead and open up the victory screen, which gives us some stats about how we did in battle. Damage done, enemies defeated, combat duration, experience, and perhaps most importantly for people, the token earnings. And we can go ahead and we can loot. You can do individual looting like that, or you can loot all with this button here. Now going to move over here, and we see that there are some other enemies here. A little bit more of a complicated, tougher battle coming up, but we'll go ahead and start it. Starting off with Lucite again, I'm going to do a similar move, and we're just going to try and shake this front dinosaur out first so we can kind of clear the path to move through to the Blightwings. Very good damage there from the Lightning Strike. I'm going to go ahead and hasten. I'm going to actually save him for Asuka to kill because he doesn't have magic armor. I'm going to go up and attack this Blightwing with a melee attack, take his physical armor off. Now for Asuka, I'm going to finish this guy off. Go ahead and get a heal in on Lucy, just heal up that little bit of health he's missing there. That'll pay dividends for future battles. These Blightwings, they're also simple one-attack enemies, but they do a ranged attack instead of a melee attack like the dinosaurs. This guy has a lot of attacks because he didn't attack on his first turn, so he had a lot of AP built up. So now with Lucite, I'm going to go ahead and strengthen. This is going to make my melee attacks more powerful. And then I will move up onto this guy and hit him with my basic attack. I have a lot of AP here, so I should be able to just spam my slash attack and defeat this dinosaur. We should now be able to get a poison off on this Blightwing. Can't quite reach this guy. I'll just walk a bit closer. Do one more attack and then I'll use my defensive stance. Next projectile he hits me with should be deflected for 50% damage. Go ahead and get his magic armor off with a Iron Maiden. We shouldn't be getting another turn. Maybe actually, let's see. Oh no, I can do 3. Loot up here. In addition to the enemies, we should be able to loot most of the corpses here. And pick up a pickaxe, that will prove useful. So we're doing pretty good on health potions. And now we have a pickaxe as well. Come across this Pilgrim corpse here. You can examine it and it'll start a dialogue sequence. He's dead. And let's bring back one of his belongings to the camp, inform the others of his fate, and we'll see that we've received a Pilgrim's Coral Ring. Quest item. We see a prickleweed down here we can grab, and we can also drink from the pond, and that will get us back to full armor and full health. We come up on some copper ore deposits here, so we can, because we have a pickaxe, we can go ahead and mine them. And you see we received 6 copper ore. There's also a chance to get a sapphire. We didn't get any sapphires on that one. Let's see if we can get some here. Very similar to RuneScape. You have a chance to get a gemstone when mining. No, we didn't get one there either. That's unfortunate. So, it's okay though. We can go ahead and loot this. This does have a sapphire in it. Grab that. And we've run into another battle here. This one is definitely more difficult because we have this adult mother dinosaur here. She just did a move that inspires the other dinosaurs for 6 turns. This is going to give them 1 extra attack. So I'm going to take the strategy in this battle to start trying to pick off the smaller dinosaurs one by one and then take on the big one. Solid damage. I'll just back up a bit. Big dinosaur just did an earthquake move. We're missing some sound effects for this battle, by the way. Usually ideally there'd be a roar sound effect there for when the large dino does that earthquake attack. But that did a lot of damage to us, unfortunately, so we'll need to react accordingly. And these guys have one extra turn. So now I'm going to go into the strengthen again. Start doing melee attacks with Lucite. I should be able to chip away at this guy. And I'm going to move up here because I want to direct their attacks towards me rather than Asuka, who's low health right now. Although I will be healing. Go ahead and get an attack off on him before I end my turn. So with Asuka, I'm going to go ahead and heal self. And I will run away. Lucite is now in a bit of danger, so I'm going to go ahead and use up some health potions. Just to heal up there. I no longer have the strengthened status, so just doing regular damage. It's a bit unfortunate because I can examine the wreck site and I can see that he does only have 10 magic barrier as opposed to armor, so it would have been good to target that, but I don't get my lightning strike back until next turn. I'm gonna go ahead and use my Iron Maiden to knock his magic barrier off. Now the Lucite lightning strike on the next turn for him is going to be really powerful. Okay. I was able to take out the wreck site. Now we just have this junior wreck site to deal with. That was definitely a tougher battle, so the rewards are a bit more for that one. Definitely could have died there if I didn't have Asuka's heal or the health potions. Luckily just picked up a few more there. So before I continue, I'm just going to head back up here and go drink from the other pond to regenerate before I continue. So we can examine here and it will start up a dialogue sequence. Lucy's asking Asuka if it's safe to drink. She starts drinking. You can ask how she knows that it's safe. She explains that the tiny bubbles forming in the center, they're caused by a geo-magic cluster at the bottom of the pond, which helps to keep the water purified. It's how her people have survived in the wild for generations. Lucide says it's not something he's seen mentioned in his studies, but who is he to question the results if her tribe has survived this long on bodies of water like this? So he starts sipping the water, and Asuka informs him that actually they have a hydromancer who purifies the water now, and they haven't been drinking untreated water for some time now. And Lucide, his eyes widen disproportionately mid-sip. So with that concluded, we'll go ahead and we'll drink. Get our health back there. And as we approach this area, we see some pirates talking in the distance. This witch is not happy, and she turns this guy into a shark. Strengthen up, start walking towards the enemies. The archer pushes me back with a forceful shot skill. I'm going to start moving up with Asuka. I'm not in range for poison, but I can do serrated vines from here. Should be noted that for mages, so for melee weapons, they get an inherent skill that they can use each turn with no cooldown repeatedly. So for the dual daggers, that's the lacerate skill. For melee weapons like Lucide's, that's the slash skill. And then for mages, they get, instead of a melee skill, they get a 0 cooldown spell. So she has the serrated vines spell for her staff. And we can go ahead and use that again. This pirate has come to us, which is useful. We have Lucide with 5 AP and strengthened. Take him out. Save those AP for next turn. Very low magic barrier, so it'll work well for me to come up here and do an Iron Maiden for dark magic damage. And I can't quite reach her for my lacerate, so I'll just save that AP for next turn. She spawns a dog. That's actually not good for me. I am somewhat low health. And he's marked me for death now. That's going to cause bow skills to do critical damage to me. I'm going to see if I can get in range for Asuka to heal. Perfect. And possibly, no, I can't quite poison the dog, so I'll just use Lacerate. Another turn here because of that kill. And this should finish her off. Just a bit of tokens there because only 2 enemies. Okay, so why don't we continue down this hole here? Looks like the entrance to a hideout. Maybe we can loot these crates first. Some silver. These are sealed shut. Nothing in here. Let's go ahead. Okay, we've arrived in an underground cavern of sorts, and looks like we can see some pirates are hiding out down here, so let's approach and start the battle. So we get to start, and I get Lucite at the beginning. I'm gonna focus my attacks on the dual-wielding pirate here up towards the top. He has low magic barrier, so it makes sense to target him with the lightning strikes. Going to hasten and then teleport to him. Him, unfortunately. And you're going to see with this battle, it's definitely a bit more complex than the battles we saw in the jungle area, with each enemy having 3 to 5 skills in their arsenal. She just went for a pushback, but she only pushed me into the Hydromancer there. With Asuka, let's see if we can get a poison off on the dual-wielding guy. This guy's just activated defensive stance and berserk, so I'm gonna try and wait until his next move before attacking him. And he has just activated Envenom and Hasten, so he's gonna be doing poison damage. You can see his daggers are glowing green, and he's gonna have more attacks each turn. So Definitely want to deal with him at this point. I'm not quite going to be able to reach him, so I'm going to have to go and just eat this guy's defensive stance with Lucide. So what I'll do is I'll do one attack normally, eat the damage there, then I'll strengthen, go into my next attack. See if I can take this guy out on this turn. I'm gonna have to hit his physical armor off first. Don't think I'm gonna get him here, but Asuka should be able to finish him off before he gets another turn. Shooting her icicle projectiles for water damage. She just used her forceful shot, so she won't be able to push me back again. I think she just did a collateral there. Okay, with Asuka, let's just finish this guy off. This guy's probably going to be doing a lot of damage at this point. He still has Berserk equipped, so I get to go next, so I should be able to heal up with my health potions. Use all of them as well. And I still have strengthened from last turn, so should be able to do a lot of damage here. Might be able to finish him. Not quite. He's got 1 HP. I've got a lot of AP here. I'm going to use 5 lacerates on the Hydromancer. She's the most powerful character among the pirates here, so it'll be useful to take her out first. Finish him off before his next turn. She only has 5 magic barrier, so I'm going to attack her with the serrated vines. I'll leave the Hydromancer to be used to use physical attacks against. I got a kill there, so I'm gonna go ahead and poison the archer. there for the Hydromancer. Now, can't quite reach her, so I'll just move up a bit. Get my second turn from the kill. And just got no magic armor, so let's see if I can get her with the lightning strikes. Here we go. So that concludes the final battle for the video. Highest rewards yet in terms of tokens. These are of course just in-game tokens at this point. And we can loot up. Hydromancer should drop some good stuff. Nothing from the archer. Okay, and I'll just see if there's anything for me to loot. That's sealed shut. I can get something from here. Oil. And I'm just gonna, before concluding the video here, I'll just show you guys the cooking / crafting mechanic. So here's how it works. Here's the UI as it currently is. We'll probably be making some improvements, but you can see on the right side you can slot your ingredients in. So I'm recalling a recipe that we have for fries. So I'm gonna input potato, salt, and oil, and press cook. That's gonna give us these fries, which we can grab into our inventory. Bring the oil back, and now we know this recipe. If we click it, it'll auto fill that for us. So that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope this kind of gave you some insight into not only how the game plays, but how far along the game is into development. We're going to be doing a giveaway, so if you made it this far in the video, what I would ask you to do is like the video, comment on the video, leave a comment explaining why you're excited about Guild Saga, what's your favorite thing from the video maybe, something to that effect, and give us a subscribe as well. And we'll select 3 winners, and each will get a hero NFT. And just in terms of contextualizing this video and where we're going next, we're going to be having part 1 of our demo released to the public fairly soon. That will include pretty much all of what you saw today in this video, as well as a bit of extra stuff. So this will be playable by the public pretty soon, and we'll be putting out some forms for people to request early access. So you can look forward to that. If you guys could share this video on your social media, that would be greatly appreciated. And thanks for watching.